Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tips Over Tea. I am Nicole, your host. We are going to be talking with Aundrea today about transitional coaching. I know we hear a lot about transformational coaching and things like that, but we are going to be talking about transitioning. So if you are looking to transition in any area of your life, this is a chat that you need to tune into. So go ahead and grab your tea, grab your notebook and pen, grab a friend, and listen in. We'll see you soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tips Over Tea. I'm so excited to welcome Aundrea to the show today. Aundrea, thank you so much for being here.
Such an honor to be here with you. So excited. Hello, everybody.
I love it. So today we're going to talk about transitional coaching, and I honestly have not heard that term before. So can you give us, for anyone like me who had not really heard that before, can you just give us a little background of what that means, what that looks like?
Yeah. So I became a coach, good Lord, back in 2008. It was, good Lord, seems like many, many moons ago. Right. And when I went into it, it was for the sole intention of helping people transition from one part of life to the other, as I was doing. I had come out of a cosmetology career going into corporate America. And that was such a very challenging part of my life because it went from literally like creating my own schedule and not checking in with anyone to now going from that to spreadsheets, literally 9 to 5, having 30-minute lunch breaks and all of that. And then literally having to have a structured life, which was very challenging for me. So I needed structure and help with that. So I went from literally chaos and, well, it wasn't chaos because I thought it was really fun, a fun life, to then having to have a structured world. And so I had someone help me with it. And so then I wanted to then give back. And so I went and became a coach, and I wanted to be the gift that kept on giving. And that ended up morphing into a whole different kind of coaching because that actually ended up helping into trauma work. That also became a whole different kind of transitional work that also helped in a different way. So that is the kind of transitional work and coaching that I assist in.
Nice. So initially it was kind of like career shifting type thing, but now it sounds more like a inner work type transition.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's exactly what it ends up being about anyways. It all starts inside.
I can see how that being able to, I don't want to say successfully transition, because you're still like, when you
right? Exactly. There's no such thing when you start learning, when you say the more you know, you find out you don't know anything, right? So you never actually really transition into anything, really. You really don't.
Like a
right.
constant thing, which yes, as life changes, you have to shift. So basically creating a resilience person within yourself as things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. How did you shift from more career focused to inner work focused? What what caused that transition?
That was chaos. That was chaos. It was a traumatic life. It was trauma. It was trauma. I went from, I was raised in a traumatic household and didn't realize that it was a traumatic household. And then my career in relationships, I thought that it was exciting. It was exciting because somebody wanted me, and I thought that it was cute and possessive and like, oh, okay, until it wasn't. And then from that point, then my fight or flight kind of took control over everything. And then from that standpoint, I had to then create major survival skills. And from the survival skills, adrenaline, fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you're forced to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when transition and transformation has to come. If you want different, not everybody wants to do things differently. So I want it different. And so that's what happened. I was forced to, because of trauma. I had children.
Mm-hmm.
And after reflecting and seeing, oh my gosh, this is reflective of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing, okay, I don't want my children to feel how I felt growing up. I want them to be different. I want them to feel different. And not only do I want them to feel different, I want us to have a different outcome in life.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to have different. So things have to change. Mm-hmm. So that's what caused the force of transition to begin.
Yeah. I always find it fascinating when someone, like, they wake up, so to speak, right? It's just like, this is not working, and I need to figure out how to make it work. And
Mm-hmm.
so I love that you did that. Would you say that your children were the kind of the catalyst for, like, or do you feel like that happened beforehand?
I would say that I think it was a perfect storm. Mm-hmm. Because, and I say perfect storm in the sense that all of the stars had to align, because I thought it wasn't just my children alone. Mm-hmm. Because I was a teen mom. Mm-hmm. And for a while, like with my first child, I was in high school, and I was still pretty reckless in high school, and I was doing things, and you would think with the first child I would have straightened up, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. And so I can't say that was a catalyst. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until child 2, I was still doing some things, and it didn't change. So it wasn't until things, as they say, things weren't uncomfortable enough, right? Yeah. So it wasn't until things got really uncomfortable for me, mm-hmm. then all the stars kind of aligned, where my ego was challenged, my security, my belonging, all of my essential needs, mm-hmm. were then challenged. Mm-hmm. And then also my maternal instincts of protecting my children, mm-hmm. were then challenged. Then that, mm-hmm. was the catalyst. That was like, oh, hell no. But see, I'm a pretty tough cookie. You know what I mean? Like, some people, it doesn't take all of that. It's just like when we're parenting our children, like when we see, like I noticed with my 2 kids, like I could yell at one, mm-hmm. just yell at her, and she would straighten up, right? It don't take much. But the other one, it's like you got to do a little bit more for her to do different. So some people, it takes a little bit more. For mm-hmm. me, it took a whole hell of a lot more. So yeah, it was just different. I had to have a whole lot more to change.
Well, you know what I can appreciate about that is sometimes we'll see loved ones and we're like, chick, can you get out of where you are? Like, why aren't you? And it probably isn't uncomfortable enough for them. And they could, and then, and having people say that to them, they could potentially be beating themselves up. Like, why can't I leave? Why don't I want to leave? Or whatever. So I can appreciate that you shared that, because it's not something you hear a lot about. Like, mm-hmm. It took a lot for me to say, you know what? Yeah, we got to get out of here.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny. It took also, I mean, there's so many different factors to mm-hmm. that also is, and it's all in perspective, because as my mom would always say, God doesn't give you more than what you can handle. Right. Mm-hmm. It's that. And then there is, people who enable, mm-hmm. right? Where we prevent people from hitting their rock bottom. And as my daughter told me one time, she sent me this beautiful text. It wasn't that long ago. And she thanked me for allowing her and my daughter to hit their rock bottom, because oftentimes it's in the rock bottom that they can then begin to reach their potential, you know, and sometimes we don't really know what we're made of until we can hit that. And sometimes maybe sometimes rock bottom is too extreme of a thing to say, but we prevent people from falling too often.
Yeah.
You know, they're like so fragile. We don't want them to fall. We don't want them to crack or bruise themselves.
Yeah.
And in that, we create little monsters, you know, but we have to allow people to hurt themselves or to see what they're made of in order for them to get the calluses, or, you know, to get those coping skills so that they can themselves see what they're made of, in order for them to see what their true purpose is or what their potential is in life, you know. And I think for me, as I say, as I'm still discovering what my truest potential is really in life, like I still think that it must be something great for like for such pain that I've gone through. Like it must be something, because my pain tolerance is so great. Like I think that there has to be something greater. And who knows, maybe that's just my way of coping in life. Like maybe it's just my way of saying, okay, this has to be, it got to be something for me to be able to get through life for that. But maybe I think that there has to be something to that, you know? And I think it's the same thing with everyone else. Like if we keep people from going through their thing, through whatever their pain, their fire, whatever the pressure is, like we prevent them from reaching their potential and whatever they're meant to be in the world. Like whoever the next Nelson Mandela is, whoever the next Michael Jordan, whatever it is, like we're preventing them from being whatever it is in the world. You know what I mean? So like
it's very possible. But I will say too, lessons come back, right? So we may be able to hold them, give them a net for the first time, but it's going to come. It's going to show again, because they did not have the opportunity to learn the first time because we prevented them from doing that. And so we could be creating a longer period of pain for someone because
that is true.
Learn their lesson at the first time it shows up.
That's true. That's true. Thanks for that reminder. That is true. I believe that too. That is so true.
But I can also say too that the initial net could also be beneficial, so that when the lesson comes back around that we prevented them from learning, we potentially gave them some skills to help them learn and navigate it through the next time it comes back around too. So you just never know. I'm like, if we do things with our heart and what we feel like we're called to do in that moment, it helps to know ourselves, like be introspective and really think through things. Like if I take a step back and let them fall, like, will I be able to be okay with myself? You know, just kind of knowing yourself, knowing that person and things like that, everything plays a role somehow.
Right. Like being heart-centered in everything, like slowing down and allowing to lead with heart, like, and then just knowing all things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Like then you can never go wrong, really, right?
Yeah. It'll all work its way around somehow.
Yeah, that is food for thought. That is true. That is so true. That's like, did you hear about, and I hope I'm not sidetracking, but I think it's the gentleman who became an attorney at like 60 or something like that.
I'm not familiar. Share.
It's just recently, I think I've heard someone who became an attorney at like 60. And it was, and I think of something like that, like like perhaps, like whatever the thing was that prevented him, perhaps that it was to be an example in this day and age for someone else to say, oh, that's attainable for me. Like, I don't need to give up on my dream because he did it this late. Like maybe he procrastinated. He kept saying, oh, I don't need to do it. Or maybe he kept being delayed. Maybe whatever the reason, it set him up for this place and time to achieve it.
Yeah.
So that someone else can now say, oh, I can do that because he did it. Like, you know, we never know what the bigger picture is, you know, like, but just like you said, it's like, oh, staying heart-centered, there's always a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Cool.
that. Yeah. I love that example though. Like, who knows why it wasn't until now. But one of the things that I do have, I remind myself of is like sometimes when I'm in a moment and it's like, there is a bigger picture that I can't see.
Right.
That's me calming myself down if I get frustrated at a little thing. Is like, seriously, Nick, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Exactly. That's exactly what I just right before I called us. I was just like, I just had to breathe this just today, right before the call. I was like, we just were talking about letting go and having to ask the question about like, what is most important? Is it, and I had to write it right here. Can you let go of the need to feel secure? And having to really keep asking yourself that, like, understand there's a bigger picture. And when you're holding on to things, understand there's something bigger at play. Like, there's a bigger movie playing out. Like, and when you let go of it, like, are you okay with it? Like,
yeah.
And I was like, hell no.
It's because letting go is counterintuitive.
Yes. Yes. But you know, the weird thing about it is, can you remember, do you like roller coasters?
I used to.
I did too.
If I could do that. No.
I did too. And I had to remember, like, what was it that I used to find so liberating in that? Like, is just being able to get in, buckle up, and just go. Like, not even care about if a bolt or something came out of the ride. Like, we didn't even think of what's holding this thing together that's going to flip around.
Especially the ones that came up, like the circus that came up just overnight.
Right, overnight. You just got on it and just went over and over again. It was like, I'm first in line and you're just going to keep going. Like, I would get on that all the time. And I was like, what is it about that you would just keep getting on over and over? Every year, you would just go without hesitation and would have the time of your life. And it felt good. Like it fed your soul. And it was like, what is it? And I'm like, I need to tap into that, because that little pocket of sunshine, that faith is what I need to get back now, because I think it's so essential in life. Like, whatever that was, I think that's so key to now. Like, whatever that was, like, I don't know. Like, I just think about it and I'm like, I think that's essential to life, that not really knowing, but having faith enough to let go and just trust and enjoy and just be free. And then to do it again.
Yeah, that's a fear. Like you said, you got to have the trust. When you're not trusting, you're fearful, right? So what are you afraid of? I mean, I'm not asking you, I'm just like anyone.
Yeah, just period.
What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of success? Because failure is a matter of perspective. So it's just like, what are you afraid of? Because one of the things that I say is like, you are the tool. Like, nobody can take away all the stuff that you know, So wherever you go, you bring that with you, and then you obtain more knowledge, and you obtain more knowledge anytime you go through a new situation. So you're completely prepared for whatever you step into, even if you don't feel like it, because the situation doesn't look the same as the last one, doesn't mean you can't use the same skill sets that you already have, and then gain more while you're there. So that's how you know you're the invaluable person. That's how you know you can let go of stuff, because what are you holding on to it for? It's like it's already played its part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Woohoo! Nuggets for life. I used to think that it was like a control thing. You know what I mean? It's like we have so much need for control.
Mm-hmm.
Like if things don't go a certain way, it's like the control. But it's like the more you think about it, like, is it really the control? It's like it's not necessarily the control. It's like it can't be really the control. And like you said, it has to be the fear.
Yeah.
Because like even the control, you're holding on to it, but so much, it's like, what the hell is it? It's like you have it. If it was really the control, it's like you'd be okay just knowing that you have it. But it's like, no, that ain't it. Yeah. So like you said, it is the fear.
Yeah. And it's like controlling partners. It's because they're fearful of you leaving, or you stepping into your own, like, fear. I believe fear is the underlying thing. A friend of mine told me, if you don't do something, you're either afraid or you're lazy.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, so remember Arsenio Hall is like, things that make you say,
Yep.
I like it. I'm gonna sit on that one, ponder on that there.
Yeah. So tell me, how do you work with, is it mostly women that you work with, or do you have gents as well?
Yeah. Yes. Women, children, and my heart's desire is to expand out into the male community. Mm-hmm. So not just gender specific.
Sure.
Yeah.
So when you're working with your clients, especially, do you still do what is it, career transition, or do you fully focus on just the inner work transition part? Like when they come to you, or they come into you because they know that there's something with them that needs to change, or because they want to change the job, and then you'll end up doing the inner work?
Yeah, no, it hasn't. I haven't done the career thing in a while. And that actually was fun and very cut and dry. It was very cut and dry. It's almost like what I felt like how dating can be, very predictable and very, very outlined. Very, very in the bank, easy. But but no, I haven't done that, and I don't count it out though. But the emotional work is more in trauma based, is what I ended up doing more within shelters. So that ended up being more of the focus. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where the pin landed.
Okay.
There. So cool.
Well, that's definitely needed. Like it's because it takes a certain type of person. It's not an easy thing to hold space for people who finally have somebody that will hear them.
Right. And I think what makes it easier, I think, is probably being one of those people. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably what it was, is because I was the people.
So. No, I get it. I absolutely get it, and that does help. Yeah, it gives you an empathy that you would not. It's hard. You can't get it if you've never been through it. Like I had my back went out, and when you tell anybody who's never had their back go out, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." When you tell somebody who has, they're like, "Oh my, I know how."
Been there, yo, and they can remember exactly where they were when it happened.
Yes. You can't move, and it's just one of the worst. Like you
Yes.
can't laugh, you can't do anything. So it's that type of thing, like trauma. If you've not been through some of those experiences, is you can still have empathy, but it's just a different. You haven't been through the trenches,
Right.
Not still don't want to negate that, who anybody who wants to do trauma work with.
Right, exactly. And just like you said, it does not discount people who want to help. Like it doesn't. Like I have a very good friend who is doing amazing work, who has a shelter now, who has never been through it at all. And she tells me all, she's like, I've never been through it. I don't know anything about it, but I know I have a heart for it. And I'm like, and that's all that matters. Like, because there are people who shy away from the work because they feel like they don't know enough and they can't relate. So just the mere fact that, you have a heart for it and you're willing to take the steps and have the courage to do it. Like, I commend people for doing that because, far too often there's not enough people doing the work. So I commend, and the people who have been there sometimes feel ill-equipped and too scared to go out and help. So it's not enough people doing it. So yeah, by all means, I don't ever want to send a message that, if you ain't been there, don't help. No, it's not enough help. So yes, by all means, all who want to, please come. Just get training. I put that disclaimer out there. Please, yes, get training. There's a lot of training out there. By all means, yes, my website has training. The National Domestic Violence, Human Trafficking, everybody, there's training, free training out there for everybody to get training. But yes, please, come on, come on. You need help. But there is a difference. It's like the energetics, right? Like, someone said it's you relate, like, you relate to those who have like minds and like spirits. That's what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So as always, time flies.
Oh wow, it did, didn't it?
So I never want to close out the show without giving my guests the opportunity to share. If you have a community you'd like to invite someone to, of course, all your information will be in the description, but sometimes somebody may be just listening and driving and they're not going to be hopefully reading the description.
Right,
So, so if you could just share if you want to invite someone to a club or whatever. And by club, I mean Clubhouse, like the audio app. But
okay, well, yes, please. People can reach me on my website at ADVAS Oasis, and also my nonprofit at SAVDA World, which is spelled my company backwards, which is SAVDA World.com, and then also for the emotional release work that we do it at the emotionalinstitute.com, which is the founder of Bernadette Pleasant, who is the founder of that, which is the emotional release work with the African drums. And then also, of course, Nikki, who's also part of the wellnessuniverse.com. There, you can catch us there, and Clubhouse, which Nikki's also on too. So you can catch me on all of those areas, and I look forward to working with anyone regarding the transitional coaching and the chakra healing, both in the body and in the home. So thank you, Nikki, for having me.
Absolutely. This has been a really wonderful conversation, as always, because we have good conversations all the time.
Yes, all the time.
So I appreciate that you share your gift and your compassion and your heart with the world, the clients that you have. And I do just really appreciate what you do.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And all that you do and your clients. So
thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Awesome sauce. Well, thank you all for watching and tuning in or just listening, whichever one. But if you know someone who could use this information, please do share it. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and click that button and hit the bell so you'll know anytime we upload a new video or go live. And yeah, just want to say thank you and ciao for now. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll be notified anytime we upload a new video or go live. And as always, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to post it in the comments. We're always checking that. In the meantime, have a great rest